So Elmer, I was just thinking about pushing that recording button and notice that my blood pressure goes up a little bit. Um, how about you?
I basically stay the same, but I've been told that maybe my blood pressure should move up a little bit so that I don't become so relaxed that I would think that I'm too informal when I look at it in the future. So the rising of the blood pressure is a good thing.
Oh, okay. So if we can get yours to go up too, we'll be better.
We're balanced.
All right, cool, man. And I don't know, maybe a lot of you are also already in this same mode, but you know, in light of what's going on in our country, one of the first things that I am concerned about, of course, there's so many things, but one of the primary things is that for the first time in my lifetime, and Elmer, I think you also agree that
I
we've
agree.
never seen masked men working for our government using our tax dollars to apprehend people and take them off the street in black vans. Let's face it, I mean, our country has always had a certain level of this kind of behavior for minority people, like my friend Elmer, who has a darker complexion than I have. I would be much less likely to have been arrested and apprehended because I'm cool. I'm white. I don't know why that makes any difference, but it does.
Excellent example. And I know of experience where an accident on the road, and this gentleman was about my age. He was here at the city of Hot Springs, and he had very light skin, African American. And the other guy was darker skin, and the other guy was much more injured than he was. So he played a joke. He was just moaning and crying, and the policeman came up and told the people with the health department, the sent from the hospital to take this white man to the hospital first, and he laughed at him. He was black. His skin was light. Just thought I would pass that on. It's kind of a sidebar. Shows how far we've come. We joked about it. He and I were born the same month, but a year different. We made some progress from that, and I hope we don't have to joke about it anymore.
Well, sadly, what we're seeing is that these masked men arresting people are using their screening criteria as, hey, does that person look like they might be from Mexico or
That's
they look a
correct.
little darker? Right now is the trend, so you can be an American citizen, you can be a law-abiding, legal alien who's here with the proper documentation. Doesn't seem to matter. You're going to get pulled over and you apprehended anyway. And we see countless examples, too many examples of people filming this while they're brutalizing people without due process, without probable cause, without any justification, just because they look like they might be a recent immigrant, possibly because they look like they might be from Mexico or some other Central or South American country. I'm sorry that that's happening.
I'm told that in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where we are at this particular moment, that there are representatives of government looking for some of those people very quietly. You can't tell from the way they're dressed, but look out for the vans with no marking on them. They have no marking for a purpose.
Yeah,
They're among us without our being aware of it.
none of us voted for this. None of us, no, nobody, no, Congress has never approved this behavior. Although they did put in the big, horrible billionaire
Deal.
bailout bill, which they call the beautiful bill. There's nothing beautiful about it. They put in massive money for the ICE agents and the Border Patrol agents. Anyway, so I wanted to mention that it's so important, and we the people are fighting against that, and thank you for being part of that fight. And I think we saw a similar episode in the 40s when the United States went to war against Germany and Italy and Japan,
World War II.
World War II, where you know we arrested and interned Japanese American citizens intentionally and put them into camps. And we see a lot of parallels to what's going on with our government now. I am happy to see that Abrego Garcia was released from being illegally detained a Venezuelan man who was sent to El Salvador, the torture prison. I think we could all take some time and watch that documentary that was capitulated by CBS not to be shown on 60 Minutes recently, which was about the CCOT prison in El Salvador, where American citizens and law-abiding immigrants, recent immigrants, there have been just rounded up and shipped off to this horrible torture facility where they make people kneel all night long. They're beating them. They're not feeding them well. They're humiliating circumstances, crowding them into these little cells. I swear to God, I don't want to go to any place like that. But I'll tell you what, I'm willing to take some chances myself. I think it's important for us to all be out there protesting on No King's Day.
Look forward to it. It's the third Monday, I think, is celebrating his birthday, and that's the day we're going to be doing No King's Day.
Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled. Look to the major groups: Indivisible, the Women's March, and 50501. Those are 3 different groups, if you're not familiar with them, who are promoting mass protests. They're also coordinating with each other to encourage people how to resist the authoritarian moves that are being made against us now. And I know that we will take our country back. So I'm hoping that in the near future we're going to offer some caps on our show. I call it MATA cap, Make America Democracy Again.
Great.
And red, white, and blue is so keep posted. Coming soon. All right. We've seen a lot of abuse of people of various ethnic backgrounds. Fortunately for folks that look like me, my group has been excluded from being targeted by law enforcement for the most part. So that's what we call white privilege.
I would say so, and I think that the system, basically white men, are trying to protect their future to the extent that they are afraid of becoming a minority.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So Elmer and I have agreed that we're going to go. We found out that there recently was established a whites-only community that some people are trying to build in Arkansas. So we wanted to go and interview the folks that are doing that and find out, why they're afraid of people that look different, and why they're afraid that, we could all get mixed up genetically. And oh my God, so what? I mean, I don't feel threatened by that. I don't know why people are afraid of that, but it's kind of interesting. I want to find out.
I think, Mark, that more people, more podcasters should be sharing this with their audience that they identify, and people that would trust them or would listen or hear them. You and I are happy to point out that it's real. We trust there'll be no more white communities anymore, or black communities as such, where we're not free to live there. But here we are.
Yeah, I would like to live in a country where, I can, and I actually live in a neighborhood in Arkansas, thank you, that has a black and white gay couple next door, a black and white heterosexual couple next to them, black people next to them, and then white people on either side.
All God's children.
And we're all mixed up in here. I live in a house that was owned by a Pacific Asian type person, from, I think, I'm not sure. I think he might be Japanese. I didn't get to meet him when I bought the house. But
I see the same kind of changes in my neighborhood. It was all white 60 years ago. Then it became black and white, and now it's becoming more white than black. And
oh yeah,
blacks will live the same houses that whites once lived in, and reverse.
Yeah, who cares? Right.
Come into reality.
Not a problem for me.
And we are sharing some facts about us to our audience and about our past, and hopefully encouraging people to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
For example, Juneteenth and King's Day, and we should never stop mentioning those. Those days are important. July the 4th, whatever it means to us. Another King's Day, no King's Day.
No kings, please. Our ancestors, and that brings me to this important topic that I wanted to mention today, is the new documentary by Ken Burns, The American Revolution. It's a 6-part series, the last 2 hours apiece. I have now watched it twice, the full 12 hours, and I'm planning to watch it again in the near future because it really illustrates the origins of our country, all of the struggles that went on there, and how unlikely it really was that we would prevail in that struggle. Basically, it was a civil war. I mean, we were fighting the loyalists against the patriots. The patriots were the folks fighting for the Union, the United States of America, in its nascent effort to become a country. It wasn't a country when we started the fighting. It was just the 13 colonies trying to form an agreement to fight against the British to get their own sovereignty and independence. Managed and operated by a bunch of rich white landowners, many of whom were slaveholders, including our great General Washington.
From the beginning.
From the very beginning.
Which reminds me to always remind our audience that we built this country. We built the White House. This country is as rich, if it is, as a result of slave labor. I don't want the day to ever come where I forget to mention that when I'm speaking in public, because I don't want to go to bed and sleep and say that I'm happy to be a part of America for what the white folks have done for me. I want the system to be able to say, thank you, Elmer Beard, for what you did for us, as I continue to do for us what you and I as partners are doing right now in this podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate your perspective, Elmer, because I think what you're saying what you mean when you say we is black people.
That's correct.
Were enslaved, and they were the people who predominantly did the labor to build the White House. You can imagine a lot of those folks were very skilled carpenters, architects.
They brought that history with them from Africa when they were brought here, and I do mean having been brought here as opposed to choosing to come. And I want to mention this, Mark, because I don't think we've mentioned it before. When the White House was built, or our government was being put together, there were groups of animals, human beings were called animals if they were black at that time, as many as 100, which would equal 20 mule teams, that pulled the contents of the White House from the woods of Virginia for the construction to take place. And there are signs of this in the basement in some places in the White House that I hope will stay there during this administration, but there is evidence of how the physical building came into being by free labor from my ancestors. I want to mention that point, and I won't ever forget to mention it again.
I think it's essential, Elmer, that we honor that history, not because it's an honorable history,
Thank you.
but because we need to honor the truth about what has happened and what we participated in. And I know our current administration is trying to whitewash everything, literally and figuratively, by excluding the truth about our relationship with people of color in their history.
I'm thinking about,
and I'm so grateful for those people who did their great service. And now we've got an administration that just willy-nilly just wrecked the East Wing of the White House. It wasn't something that was taken out with under approval from Congress, or asking the American people, hey folks, do you want to remodel your ancient historical building that everybody sees as iconic for America, and that was built, sadly, but reality, by slaves from the beginning.
from the beginning.
But we need to honor the work that they put in, and honor the people, and honor the history of that, and how it came about, and the value of the building itself for preserving our historical sense of, we the people. We the people need to take back our country now.
And make it more meaningful.
And, it's so sad that East Wing is demolished. The architect left the project because he said, man, this is not good. This is garbage. It wasn't done properly. Now there's no plan to finish a ballroom. We don't need a ballroom. Who wants a ballroom? One guy.
You know, I'm happy that you mentioned
One
that
guy
because
wants a ballroom.
I don't keep up with it as much as I should have. Now that you mentioned that, the price was 100 million to 150 to 200. Now we don't know how much.
Well, he's saying, uh, the orange guy is saying that the cost is going to be, sometimes it's 250 million, another day it's 350 million. Once I heard him say 450 million. Now he's back to
Just
250. But don't worry, because no, your tax dollars aren't going to pay for it. He's got a bunch of, he's doing the grift and getting a bunch of private guys to pay him money to build this ballroom for himself. It's what his story is. I don't know. I doubt if anything he says is true. I wait for him to tell the truth. Every once in a while he does accidentally say something that's true. Just, he talks enough to accidentally say things that are true once in a while. But
I'm just wondering, is that democracy now?
huh.
Is that democracy now to do that without
Of course not.
discussing with anybody that?
No, it's not even
elected?
legal. It's not even legal. That building he's being sued for tearing down the East Wing.
I think he loves suits.
Oh my God, he's the most litigious human being in the history of the world, as far as I know. He's been involved in more lawsuits, both for and against him, or against others and against him. Thousands of lawsuits. I don't know. I think it's well over 5,000 at this point. And I'll tell you what. I hope I get on that list. Hey, we're gonna sue you for $1 billion. Nah, make it 50. I don't care. 150 billion, 2 trillion. That's a great number. Keep going. Because I'm not gonna stop talking. I'm gonna say that I love this country. Elmer, my friend, and I are having a conservative conversation.
We are being very conservative about it because I'm not going to tell all the truth that I know about this.
What are we conserving, Elmer?
We're trying to conserve our democracy. It has been injured and hurt and cut and slashed and bumped into and bombed, and it's costing us who paved the way for this choice. And we did choose President Trump as our president, and
It's humiliating.
Apparently, he has
Embarrassing.
he's in a position to do whatever he wants to do without anybody's vote.
Yeah.
It touched me, and I have to mention this, Mark, as podcasting, that he said it earlier in his campaign that if you vote for me, you never have to vote for another president. And that still bothers me. We'll get into that more in detail this time. I actually, a committee person, very recognizable elected official in Garland County, what that meant. And he said to me, Elmer, you're a man of the scripture, and from the scripture you've heard that there are things that have been said in the scripture that would never take place, and this is one of them. For example, that he will never be the man where we want to elect another president, but apparently he seems to make that be true.
Well, we saw him in the 2020 election. He lied about that before the election even took place, that it was going to be stolen. And then after he lost that 2020 election, and man, if it could have been proven any more greatly that he lost, he engaged in 60 or 61 lawsuits against selected states where the Electoral College made the difference in his majority winning the White House.
If I remember, it's almost a suit a day there.
He lost every single one of those. Some of them were thrown out of court just because they were frivolous.
From the beginning.
They didn't have enough evidence or facts or anything to support his claims that that the election was stolen, that he lost the election. But he's never going to give up on that lie, because if he's a really good authoritarian, which maybe you could argue that he's pretty good at that, I call him the loser, liar, convicted criminal con man in chief.
That long list.
Yeah, that's just the abbreviated version of his contempt for the United States, for human beings, and for almost any convention of decency, kindness, compassion, love.
It's all
missing. It's all missing from him. He cares about making money, people say that his hair looks nice and that he looks like
keeps it orange.
He wanted to tell us that he looks a lot like Muhammad Ali. That's right. When he was arrested in Georgia, Let's hear it for Fonnie Willis. What a courageous woman she is.
I love her.
You know, he sold the White House. He let Elon Musk buy the election for him, and then he let Elon Musk steal all of our data.
Was that the one with the chainsaw?
Oh yeah. You remember that? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know why? He was in there. He was trying to demonstrate that he was going to cut waste and fraud and abuse in our government. Well, guess what, folks? Guess what we got for that? An inflated, out of control budget deficit. We are spending money like drunken sailors in this country as the government of the United States since the Department of Government Evisceration, I call it, they call it the Department of Government Efficiency, came and left.
If I remember, Mark, when he left the White House, Trump said he didn't care if he never saw him again, but I saw him back together and embracing at a memorial service.
Sure. There's money in it, money and power. And, you know, Trump threatened to take away a lot of, Elon's contracts with the government, which has contributed dramatically to Elon's financial success. The fact that we contract with SpaceX and what's the satellite company?
Way of making money.
Yeah, we contracted with all these guys. Of course, we were selling Teslas on the White House lawn. Don't forget, huh? It's just like the.
Is that Democrat vehicle?
Well, it used to be. Yeah, it used to be a Democrat car. You know, you wouldn't see any self-respecting Republicans getting near an electric vehicle. But, you know, since Elon showed his true stripes and let everybody know he's a true racist, fascist, loving kind of guy. Yeah, his whole family history is all about, the technocracy. And now he's implementing technocracy. What that means is the technical powerful are going to do everything they can to suppress normal people from having an opportunity to thrive and prosper. You know, they want to replace us with robots. That's my thinking, because he's got Neuralink, Elon Musk does, and he's also got the robotic company. What's the name of that? Do you remember?
I can't remember. He's just a man of richness. But what I've managed to be able to remain sane about Musk is that trying to find out how in the world do we keep telling people you need to go to college and get a degree and become one of the rich people of the world, and he didn't do that. Musk never got a bachelor's degree. And some of the wealthiest people in the world never got a degree, period.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did actually read the book.
Maybe he did finish school.
He did
If
go.
he was
He
well
did go.
enough,
He did go to college, and I'm not sure what his actual ending degrees may or may not have been.
But if I know how this works, if you get 2.5 years in college and you're very, very successful, basketball players, football players, athletes, millionaires, you can get a degree if you make enough money.
Yeah, I'm sure you could buy one.
We've got them here in Arkansas like that. I happen to know some. 2.5 years in college, and years later you got a ring and a degree, and you never had to cap and gown.
Well, yeah. I understand that Melania says up until recently that she has a degree in architecture.
And we just hear that.
She did go to college for a short period, and then she dropped out to be a model. I think it was less than a year. I don't think she got a degree in anything. But, she told everybody she had one, and I'm sure her husband would back her up with that lie. So if you want to believe it, please feel free to do that. I choose to believe the facts, which are that she took that down off her website. She's not making that claim at the moment anymore.
It's good to follow up on these things.
And Melania is also really impressive with the directly verbatim using Michelle Obama's acceptance speech.
I think she admitted that, implied that she made it fit her occasion. It just so happened that somebody else had said it. Great. Turned into sarcasm.
If you're gonna steal somebody's speech, Michelle Obama's a pretty good speech maker. Very good.
Excellent point.
Yeah. I think she you got to give Melania credit for not stealing a lesser speech. She did steal a good one.
I think that if I ever did that, I would say I'm borrowing from you, and now you can have it back, Michelle. But I just need it for right now. I'm not gonna make somebody think I created this on my own.
Yeah, a normal person like myself, if I made that terrible kind of a decision is to pretend that I wrote something and then delivered it in public, and it was so obvious that I'd stolen it, I would be humiliated, ashamed, and embarrassed, and very apologetic about it.
Mark, she could
Isn't
have
that
said
normal?
that somewhere I read this, and then that would have freed her from stealing.
Some, somewhere I read this and I couldn't help but memorize the entire thing verbatim.
I think it fits my occasion. You may know this speaker, but I don't want to mention the name because I want you to be comfortable with what I have to say. But I read this somewhere. Let's continue to be conservative and share our differences and agreements and hope for tomorrow with our ways.
And when Elmer and I say fight, neither one of us, I don't think, owns a gun. Do you own a gun?
I don't own a gun.
Yeah, we don't own guns. But that's
I
us.
had a BB gun and my daughter didn't know what it was, so I only have a bird gun now.
I had
a
a
squirrel in the backyard.
Yep. My first thing that I bought with my seed money when I was a kid, selling seeds door to door, was a BB gun with a scope on it. I was good at shooting bottles. Anyway, I don't have any weapons anymore. But when we say fight, we're fighting peacefully. We're going to demonstrate. We're going to scream and yell. We're going to express our free speech rights.
We're looking forward to the King's Days. No King Days.
No kings.
No Kings. A couple of those are planned.
Thank you all. We
Thank you.
appreciate you coming to have a conversation with us today and let us know what you think.